Okay, so made it kind of far on that one. That was like a 10-minute one. So we're just about finished. We'll just wrap things up, and it looks like the baby has started to move. So hopefully I don't get any crying in this video. But so where we left off in that last video, as we said, we're going to start off with our time period, what's going on to frame your question. So we said this is Reconstruction's going on. We're piecing back the United States after the Civil War. And then there's this question about African Americans. Now that they're not slaves anymore, what's going to happen to them? Okay, so that's going to be your paragraph. The last sentence of your first paragraph then is where you'll put your thesis. Now, I can't stress that enough. Let me like zoom in on it. You see that word? Always make sure that the thesis is always the last sentence of your first paragraph, okay? So you talked all about that intro, and then your last sentence is going to say, while African Americans were successful in gaining all these amendments, they struggled to maintain them, and the 3 reasons that you're going to try to say that they didn't maintain them, okay? All right, so that gets you your first paragraph. Now, all the rest is cake because you're just going to take your categories that you've got, these 3 big categories that we've made up here, and you're going to plug those in to your next paragraphs. So remember our thesis, we're always going back. You're always going to try to prove they were successful in gaining them, but they didn't maintain them. So after we've done our intro, let's go to our first paragraph, which is going to be this first chunk that we did. So we're going to put in this next paragraph, so technically this is your second paragraph, but it's your first body one. You're going to say the 13th Amendment was passed in 1865. It abolished slavery. It did all these great things. However, going back to your thesis, we said they didn't maintain that amendment. So then you're going to say, even though the slavery was abolished, they didn't maintain it because of sharecropping. And then you're going to talk all that you know about sharecropping and the problems with it, okay? Then you're going to go on to your next paragraph. You're going to say, okay, remember back to our thesis, African Americans were successful. They also gained the 14th Amendment. So we're going to say, here's the 14th Amendment, the year, this is what it did. But back to our thesis, they didn't maintain it because of these Supreme Court cases. And remember, I told you, this is the most missed question. This is what everybody always forgets. So make sure that you memorize those. Don't write them on a cheat sheet and hide it like under your hand or under your desk or something like that. But make sure you memorize those, okay? Then your last paragraph, you're going to say, they were also successful in gaining the 15th Amendment. And this is what the 15th Amendment says. It's suffrage. That means the right to vote. However, back to our thesis again, they didn't maintain it because of Southern legislation. And you're going to talk about these 3 things that were passed and why they kept them from being able to vote, okay? So that's basically how you're going to write your essay. And then the last step is always, if you have time, wrap it up with a conclusion. Just kind of go back to what your thesis is. I typically don't count off if you don't have a conclusion. I count off if you don't have an intro. But the conclusion, if you've already said what you've needed to say, then typically I won't count off of that. And even on the AP and the DBQs, AP students typically aren't taken off for the conclusion either. But if you have time, it always makes it more solid. It just makes it a better essay. A lot of times you can get a couple extra points just from having that, but I won't take off points if you don't get to the conclusion. But so that's basically it. That's basically your essay, what you're going to look at. If you got any questions, please let Miss Barrett know. She can always email me. She can text me. When you guys do the remind, I get those on my phone. So if you have any questions about the essay, just send me a text on the remind. And while I'm trying to get the baby to sleep, I could text you back. Then it won't be a big deal at all if you've got any questions about this kind of stuff, okay? All right. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Hope this test goes well, and I'll be seeing you all shortly. All right. Bye.